Hello, and thank you for downloading Witness from the BBC World Service. And today we're taking you back 75 years to a struggle on the streets of London that would be hailed as the day that fascism in Britain was defeated. Louise Hidalgo reports on the Battle of Cable Street.
Passing the Tower of London, 5,000 fascists rally to their mobilisation for the much-advertised march through the East End. And Sir Oswald Mosley, black shirt leader, arrives at Royal Mint Street to inspect his followers.
Sir Oswald Mosley was the leader of the British Union of Fascists, known as the Black Shirts because of the uniforms they wore. That day, the 4th of October 1936, Oswald Mosley was planning to march with his supporters through the East End of London, home to most of England's Jews. But many ordinary Londoners were determined to stop him.
Thousands of East Enders prepare to resist the invasion, barricading the path the fascists would take. 6,000 police are already concentrated in the area. Others are rushed to reinforce them.
What followed in a small East End street would go down in history as the Battle of Cable Street. Bill Fishman was 15 and a half in October 1936. Bill's father had told him he couldn't go that day to help stop Mosley's men marching, but Bill didn't listen.
Whilst he was back with Stern and preparing breakfast, I disappeared, got on a bus. I got off the bus and there was a massive crowd gathered of people. Thousands of them. I couldn't get through. It took me an hour to get through Whitechapel Road alone to the main building where the defence was held. I could hear this chanting of voices from boys, girls, men and women. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want Mosley, dead or alive.
Bill Fishman came from a family of Jewish immigrants. He'd listened to Oswald Mosley speaking just a week before and had been horrified by what he'd heard.
What say we go forward to action? Let who dare follow us in this hour.
I saw him personally get up on that platform, aping Hitler, you see, the Grand Master Hitler. And he started off with those famous words about the alien menace. Alien menace, which he meant mainly the Jews. Alien menace. My uncle, young uncle, who'd fought in the First World War and had gained a military medal for bravery because he was proud to be fighting amongst Englishmen. Uncle Wolfie. And of course myself and my two brothers serving in the army. We were supposed to be the alien menace.
It wasn't just Jews who came a week later on the 4th of October to stop the Black Shirts marching. Irish dockers, communists, socialists, anarchists, trade unionists, ordinary Londoners gathered in their tens of thousands at Whitechapel, the gateway to the East End, to wait for the British Union of Fascists to arrive. The government had said the BUF could march. The police were out in force to ensure it went ahead unimpeded. But the anti-fascists were prepared.
They barricaded the front, cutting off Whitechapel, and one felt elated as we got through the crowd where we were going to confront who we regarded as the enemy of Britain, the fascists.
But of course it wasn't the fascists who came through first, it was the police. 10,000 police they had out that day, didn't they?
Yes.
What happened then?
Well, the kids were throwing balls at the horses of the mounted policemen and they were falling down. And the police got out their truncheons and charged the crowd. A huge, massive crowd. This went on for about an hour. People were injured, girls, many of the girls taken to hospital, as the police struck at them to get through.
You must have been very scared, a 15-year-old boy in the middle of this huge crowd.
I wasn't, but I was with a couple of comrades who are now dead, unfortunately. But we said, "They shall not pass," they were shouting. "They shall not pass." And they did not pass at that. And what we had a spy there who was studying to be a doctor in London Hospital. He had attached himself to the fascist crowd that was marching towards And he heard the chief of police say to Mosley, you had better turn into and go through Cable Street because we can't get through, he said, without bloodshed.
Oswald Mosley wasn't originally intending to march down Cable Street, was he? He was intending to march down Whitechapel.
Whitechapel, you see. Well, he heard the phone call, he heard what he said, and he went to the nearest phone box and he phoned through to the chief who was commanding the defence of the place and told him exactly what was happening. And what happened was this, all stopped, the crowd was waiting for a signal, and they heard through loudspeaker, "Get to Cable Street." He's marching towards Cable Street. And the whole crowd, hundreds of them, turned round and we went right straight into Cable Street. We marched. And it was there, in the middle of that, I saw what happened. The fascist march advanced towards this huge, impenetrable crowd, and from the top of the building, they were throwing at the police old mouldy fruit and everything they had that would have gone into the dustbin was thrown. The police, of course, made them even angrier, and they went into this crowd with their batons up, bursting their way in. It was really a very frightening sight. I was about 20 yards behind. I would have been bloody killed, I think, if I got in there. But I saw the way the police and the defence went for each other. It was like a battle going on. That lasted about, I would say, of an hour and a half. And eventually, the chief of police, he said, about turn, mobilised his troops, about to marched off.
So the police left?
The police left, and the Mosley crowd couldn't get through. They had to follow behind the police. The police marched them back somewhere to the Tower of London. And there, he told Mosley, "We can't get through. You have to dismiss."
A car charges a black shirt crowd to get away. Altogether, 84 rioters are taken into custody, while the police firmly prevent the battle from taking an uglier turn. 80 injured are taken to hospital. Hundreds more receive first aid on the spot. From impartial people, the police earn nothing but praise. Firm action by the Commissioner and his men undoubtedly averted bloodshed on a scale more terrible than London has ever witnessed.
The Battle of Cable Street was over. That night, the anti-fascists stayed on the streets to celebrate.
There were people, young women and men, dancing in the streets. There was a great celebration that evening. Mind you, I nearly copped it from my father. I mean, I shouldn't have gone. He was very angry with me. He didn't strike me. But he had heard what had happened, that fascism had been finished at Cable Street. It stopped them from advancing into the East End, which he felt very like myself, very emotional about. We were born and bred there. So I'm one of the few left who could remember that.
Shortly after the Battle of Cable Street, an Act of Parliament outlawed the wearing of political uniforms in public and required that political marches needed police consent. The British Union of Fascists never gained a foothold in Britain, and when Britain went to war against Nazi Germany, Sir Oswald Mosley was interned. Bill Fishman went on to become a professor of history. He now lives in northwest London.
Louise Hidalgo. For details of our complete range of downloads and our terms of use, go to bbcworldservice.com/podcasts.